Welcome to Kind of Adulting. My name is Simone, and I'm joined by my two friends, Jordan and Elise. We've known each other since middle school, high school-ish, and we're taking on our early 20s together. In this podcast, we hope to share our daily challenges, funny stories, and overall experiences living in big cities and taking on post-grad life. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kinda Adulting.
Oh, sorry.
I was kind of thrown off. You were a little loud. I was like,
we missed the drop.
Okay. So on this episode, we are back. It's just the three of us again. Woo!
Ooh.
All right. So another. Anyway, how is everyone doing today?
Wait, just before we move on. So after we recorded with the boys, Josh and Chris, like after recording was done, Josh was like, "Oh yeah, y'all have to have us back." And Simone with the straightest face said, "Why would we do that?" And then Josh said, "Oh, I thought that's what people said when they do podcasts. Like you gotta have me back."
I just felt like we needed a reason to have them back, and I didn't know what else they were going to share in terms of expertise. So
he looked a little hurt.
We'll do another dating episode next year. How about that?
Yeah.
But how is everyone doing?
good. Good. Me and Elise are going on a road trip tomorrow.
Another one of Jordan and Elise road trip. Ooh.
Is Jordan driving this time? Wait, is Jordan's license?
Yes, Jordan has a functioning license.
Okay.
She always did.
Okay.
It was just, COVID stopped some things, even though my birthday's in January, but
Yeah, exactly. It should have also stopped some other things, but this. Well, we wish you safe travels.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I will say that I must have missed the part of school where they explain health insurance and all its acronyms and how it works, because how am I supposed to know all these things? So I was going back and forth with this dentist office all week because no one explained to me that health insurance is different from dental insurance. Like, isn't my teeth part of my health? And so I'm texting my mom. I'm like, I can never find my actual health insurance card. I always lose it. So I always picture it on my phone. And she's like, "You lost your card again, Elise?" I'm like, "It's fine. Like, I be showing people screenshots at the doctor." But the dentist was like, "We need your dental insurance." And so we went back and forth. The girl's texting me, which is weird. I'm like, I don't remember the dentist office that texts me. And she's like, "Can you send me a picture of your insurance?" And I sent her a picture of my insurance. And then 2 days later, she's like, "I'm sorry, you need your dental insurance." I'm like, I don't know what that is, sis. Like, I don't know. And I have to call my mom and explain it to me. And I'm like, where was I supposed to learn these things that I need dental insurance as well, which I do have, but I didn't know it was a different, completely different, company, different name, all of that, different ID number. Like, what?
See, if you guys were really grown like me,
calm down.
You would know because you would have had to apply for insurance through your employer. So I pay a $9.99, I think $9.99 fee every month. I think something like that, or like $20. It's really cheap for my dental insurance.
Have you been to the dentist yet?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So you looking dumb.
First of all, I'm not looking dumb. It's because when I was in Georgia, I could not get an appointment, and I haven't found a dentist here yet. But I think I'm at a point where I'm like, I'd rather just go to my doctors at home. So that's the problem. I have to get appointments when I plan to go home because it's hard to find like in Atlanta, I feel like a lot of us take for granted the fact that we have Black doctors, but in New York, you cannot find that. Like, I found one Black OBGYN, and it was, her office was in a health center. So it was literally the most chaotic experience ever. So I'm like, I'm never going back. So I went to my own OBGYN when I got back home. So yeah.
Yeah, I only go to doctor's appointments and stuff when I go back home.
Oh, not I. Y'all know I'm sickly, so I have doctors here. But actually, all my doctors as of now are all Black in DC. Even my dentist that I was about to go to is Black woman as well. Yeah, but I'm not going to them no more because that was too
Oh my
chaotic
goodness.
of an experience.
I want to go to like Dr. Heavenly.
I don't. Okay.
I don't know who that is. Simone be watching all the little reality shows.
I
Though.
You
love
don't
it.
watch Real Housewives or I'm sorry, Married to Medicine though?
No, I
No, she
don't.
Like
doesn't.
I watch all of the reality, but you should at least know the ones out of Atlanta. Those are like classics.
Culture.
Who's cable?
Married to Medicine is a part of the culture.
Jordan, you know you use your parents' cable. We talked about it this week on FaceTime.
I only use it for Stars and HBO.
That's your choice though. If you want to laugh, then you can laugh. But you should know. No excuse. Oh, I started P Valley today. Jordan and I were just talking about that. And
It's so good.
it's very fascinating. Like it's slow, but it's very entertaining for some reason. And then they're in Mississippi, so they have these like really fake southern accents. I don't know how to describe it. They're not the best sometimes.
I love me some country accents.
But
I told Elise to go watch it.
It's good though. Like it's about some strippers. I'm not gonna lie about that, but it's good. I like it a lot. So highly recommend everybody go watch.
On their parents' cable.
Yeah, or just use someone else's.
Yeah.
Someone gave me
cable.
Like when I first moved in, someone sent me like their friend's login, so I've been using that since I've lived in New York.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. For what?
For
everything.
Yeah, for everything.
I'll hit you up for it then.
Oh, I won't be sharing. I ain't trying to go to jail. I'll just yell.
You gave me that One Boys login and it didn't work. I asked Simone for this HBO login. She said it was a friend of her friends. I used it to watch Insecure.
I did give it to you. That's right. I did give it to you.
And then it didn't work, which was shady. Because I was like, Simone's trying to be shady. She changed him one number on the password.
Nah, man, that thing worked for me.
I couldn't log in, and I watched it Insecure on the bootleg site where I kept on clicking all the ads, and I'm like, my email's gonna get infected. But I had to watch Issa and Molly.
Sometimes it's the user. it's probably the user. So anyway, glad to know everyone is doing well. You guys look good. One day we're gonna have to do a virtual like recording so people can see what we look like. I'd have to put on makeup because I look terrible.
Elise, has to do a lot of things to get herself together.
Yeah, this girl took an hour, but was all on Instagram recording her braids and then whatever else it took to get herself together.
Can we move on?
Anyway, next we will be having our discussion, so stay tuned.
Sadly, there's been so much violence surrounding Black women in the media lately. Megan Thee Stallion was being harassed online when she told the world that she had been shot. They were saying she was faking her injury, she couldn't have healed that quickly, and after so many rumors were spread, she ended up showing her injury on Instagram and calling out Tory Lanez as the person who shot her. Even after she purposely didn't tell the police he was the shooter, to spare him from getting shot, people still called her a snitch. And then there was the viral video going around where Eden the Doll, Jocelyn Flawless, and Jasleen White Rose, 3 trans women of color, 2 who are Black, were being assaulted by 6 cisgendered men while bystanders and police did nothing. We just really wanted to discuss why it's so hard living in the intersection of being Black and being a woman because you can be so damn unprotected. And I think we all agree that we feel the need to watch out and protect all Black people, like, period. But why do you think there's a disconnect when it comes to protecting Black women?
I think it's the trope that, like, we're strong enough, like, that we can take it all. I think that's where I'm sure there's so many layers and so many intersections about why it's happened in history and policies that have made it this way. But I really do think it's because people assume that Black women are strong and can handle these things.
Yeah, I think it's like that, but it's also just the idea of like you talk to a lot of Black men, and even though they're Black, they don't recognize the privilege in being a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we are like at the bottom of the barrel, right? Because it's like you have men and you have women, but then you have Black women. So it's like we just get the last of everything. We get forgotten about. It's literally just we're not a priority. I think partially, like Elise said, it's because we have this reputation of being strong, but most of us are not strong. We're just put a lot of burdens are put onto us, and people think we're strong because they just expect us to be that way. Like, I hate being described as strong. I don't think any of us are strong. I think we're all very emotional and fragile beings, honestly. Like, and I just think, like I said, it's like we are women, but we're also Black women. So it's like no one just cares about us. Honestly, no one cares about us. And you see it literally every single day in how we're treated. And I saw yesterday someone had tweeted something like, if that were Kylie Jenner, it wouldn't have gone that way. And very true. Like, if that were Kylie Jenner, no one would have questioned anything about this situation.
At all.
But because it was a Black woman, probably, didn't help that she's not your typical feminine looking woman. She's tall, she's thick. It's like, what does she do? Did she fight him first? What the heck does that have to do with getting shot? Whether she fought him or not.
Yeah.
Why did this nigga pull out a gun? Excuse my French, y'all. I'm trying to use words like that, but why did he pull out a gun? Like, I don't understand. So we're just bottom of the barrel. I don't feel that way, but like about us, but that's how people treat us.
Yeah. And then like going on along with that, like, I don't even understand why people even need it to be devil's advocate. Like, you just want it to be ignorant. Like, let's just say it is for what it is, because it's just like, what could she have done to justify being shot? Like, nothing.
That exactly. And
nothing.
Point literally
nothing. Like, was she armed? Probably not. Definitely not. So like, why?
Unless someone literally shot at you or has a gun to your neck, I don't understand. But like I told my dad, first of all, why the hell does the devil need an advocate?
Why does he need an advocate?
And why does devilish behavior need an advocate? The devil don't need no advocate. The devil gonna do what the devil gonna do. Can we advocate like the current situation? We don't need to see any other sides. The only person who's speaking up is telling us what happened. So why are we even looking for what the other person in that case is saying? Because guess what? The reality is, if he didn't do it, he would have been quick to say he didn't. He's been silent. There should be no question.
Been talking this whole quarantine radio.
Elisa and I used to be posted up on quarantine radio, and now you're
every single time. Yeah. And I think bringing back the discussion of Black women being unprotected to more of an adulting sense is, we are all young Black women. We live in the city.
Wait, hold on. I didn't answer the question.
Oh, I apologize, Jordan. Proceed.
Okay.
At least I had to get to the broad
down to the nitty gritty.
The broad. Go on, Joy.
But I think it definitely not saying it's our fault at all, but just like, with like movements, like women's movements, like civil rights movements, like we've always, gone with the patriarchal, like a man's going to be in the leading place, and we're going to be right there beside him, right there helping him, probably doing a lot more than he ever did. And so it's just like publicly, like, we've always been forgotten, we've always been to the side, we've always been like left behind. And even the people, like the women that were in the forefronts of things, like, they don't get put in textbooks. Like, people know about Angela Davis because of Twitter and like if you grew up, in certain households, but that's not like something taught in American history.
They're not even included they're not even included when the discussion comes up of, police brutality and things of that sort.
Not at all.
Like, I remember watching the news and just being so annoyed that we kept saying Black men.
Yeah.
What about Black people? Black women are being murdered. There was a case literally, I want to say either right before or right after George Floyd. I don't know when Breonna Taylor, like in that time frame, was murdered. But literally the same time frame, you have, transgender people who are literally being murdered and attacked in the streets. They are Black. They also deserve attention. This is a broad conversation, and it does not deserve, or Black women don't deserve to be excluded from that.
Especially because they're the ones that are bringing the conversation up in the first place.
Right. And then when you talk about that patriarchal thing, like that, girl, I don't even want to get started on that. But let me tell you, if we doing everything that y'all say we do, and we are these strong people, we deserve to be we deserve to be loved and protected as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, men, That's it. That's just like where it comes down to. We're black and we're women. So it's like you already get mistreated because you're a woman, but we're also black too. And I think the broader scheme is like, why aren't we getting the protection in our communities? So it's like, I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now you can go, Elise.
Thank you. So I'll repeat the question, but basically we're all black women. We all live in cities pretty far from our families. So we're kind of out on our own a lot of times. And we are very like, we look out for ourselves. Like I carry like a taser. Like I used to have pepper spray until a security guard confiscated it. But
which we need to talk about too. But keep going.
But like what precautions do you guys like do or like carry on like a daily basis to kind of protect yourself? Like because we are young and we don't have like I am out and about in the city like at night. Like I'm not gonna be cooped up in my house. Like I am gonna go out. And I also don't live with my friends. That's a good point. I don't live with my friends. So like I'm usually having to meet my friends out at night places if I do go out by myself.
Yeah.
And so like one thing that I do is like so I have a taser, had some pepper spray. My friends track me in the city at all time. Like we always have each other's locations because you just never know if you're trying to find someone. And then honestly, like I try not to go places like walk at night by myself. But sometimes like
that's an improvement. That is an improvement. You have a history there.
I about to say sometimes Mo knows I think I'm big and bad. So I will be walking through DC at night.
And again, Elise is 5'2".
No, she's
Thank
not.
You for
she's
that.
5. She's
oh,
5 foot.
I thought you were 5'2", girl. I gave you some inches. She's 5 foot. So I just want to put that into perspective when she's talking about the things that she does walking around at night.
I do because you know why I walk around at night? Because Ubers are expensive, and so it will be like a cool midnight, and I'm like, well, actually like 11 p.m. I'm like, you know what? Went to the little bar, had me some fun with my friends. Uber $15. I'm like $15. The metro about a 5-minute walk away. I can get on the metro and then get in the metro and then walk home by myself. But of course, as I walk, there's always some man trying to talk to me, pull up on me, and it makes me like uncomfortable. But I think it's like, why do I have to always be uncomfortable like existing in my life? But the question is for you guys, like what do you guys do as like us in our 20s living not with like our like you know friends for the most part and like existing in the city?
Well, I did want to you brought up an interesting point because like I think living in the city too, when I'm going out and stuff, a lot of times I'll take the train back, right? Like if I'm not in a group with my friends, a lot of times I'm taking the train back to my house by myself at night and my parents have a fit, right? But the interesting point that you kind of brought up was like, sometimes I'm like, I feel safer on the train than I do taking an Uber at night. Not That's even true. About the money. It's the fact that in New York, people ride the train all 24 hours of the day. So what I do know is that someone's going to be on that train. Multiple people are going to be on that train versus me being in a car by myself. And so sometimes I have to kind of judge it, you know, but in general, like I used to have a pepper spray. It got, you know, a bouncer took it.
Same. Which I try to fight him.
And don't understand how women are.
Y'all weak because I definitely take it back. I said, stay there right there. And when I leave, I'm getting it.
Well, that's what he said. He said, come back and get it, girl. But it was 5 hours later. Ain't nobody remembering to go back and get their daggone pepper spray.
Every time.
But the thing is, like, with that, what are women supposed to do? So that's stupid. But yeah, I have pepper spray. I'm very, 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 I want to say hyper aware. Like, I am that person who literally walks with their head at a swivel. I literally walk like this. If it's late at night, I have my keys in my hand because I'm willing to really do things with them. You know, they're not that sharp, but I will stick it in somebody if I have to. I mean, truthfully, like
you can do that. Keys are sharp enough for that. Are you sure?
You can. I mean, they can hurt anything into someone if you put enough force behind it. But yeah. You should probably
don't knock her safety precautions. Okay.
First of all, she ain't knocking nothing. If you stick something hard enough into somebody, like yes, it's gonna move in there. Okay, it might not break skin, but it's gonna cause some pain. Anyway,
might bruise a little bit,
right? So you know, I do things like that. My friends have my location on and stuff like that. But I will say, a lot of the times, I do take the train. Unless it's really late at night, or I try, like a lot of my friends live in Harlem, so we'll go to parties together, we'll leave together, and I'll just get off on my stop. But my stop is a very like busy area. So it doesn't matter the time of the night, people are outside. So that makes me feel better, I guess. I don't know. But you know, I don't know how to really feel safe. Like in New York, you get catcalled with mask on, like people walking up on you talking about how fine you are with a mask on. So that's never ending, and it is uncomfortable. There's no rest out here for us.
And then even still, like, you saying that you would rather choose like the train because there's more people on there. Just going back to the situation with the 3 trans women, like there were a lot of people outside, and they were just sitting there looking and recording on their phone.
Yeah.
Some of them even jumped in to start throwing stuff at them. Like, you're even like, you can be around so many people,
right,
and still feel so unprotected, and it's just crazy. Like, but like what I use, I just bought a knife, and it's so nice looking. It's so
I
pretty.
want one so bad.
I'm sorry.
It's like a little spring assist, so it just be you just like press the button and pop out. It's really cool. I almost like hurt myself, but it's okay. No stitches, like Elise. Anyways,
well, you weren't trying to chop an apple, so that won't happen.
No, I wasn't. And then I carry mace on me. One of my friends, Chloe, she literally every time she comes down, she brings me mace. And she's like, you just gotta protect yourself and da da da. So I have mace too. And I carry my mace with my key. Like, so it's just
that's how I used to do
me all the time. And then, like, of course, I do the share my locations. I share my location with people who literally don't even live in the state. But you know, like, if I'm happen to be texting them, I can just be like, call 911, and then they already have my location. Like, that's just my thought of it. And even when I'm walking places, like where I used to live, where it was like a lot of stuff going on, like I would FaceTime people. Like, no, like the people on the FaceTime can't do much, but at least like they can maybe get like a glimpse of your attacker. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, I know for a fact, like she's right here. I see it. Like, what else is going on? Like, you know, somebody's there. Maybe not physically, but like, you know, somebody else can experience that too. So that's why I always be like FaceTiming people whenever I walk somewhere kind of sketchy.
Yeah. And what's so, now that we're talking about all the things we do, like, it just sucks so much because I feel like men don't have to think about this. Like, they don't have to think twice about like precautions. Like my friend Simone, like people flip out when I walk around at night by myself, right? And people are always like, at least don't do that. Like, my friends, like, they're concerned for me, and that sucks. They have to be concerned for me and my physical safety as I'm walking down the street. Whereas like men who do that probably don't have to think twice about like their surroundings, where I'm like going to be hyper aware if I am at night, like not be up all my, like, you know, be looking around, not just be staring at my phone, like tell someone I'm walking from point A to point B.
Can't take shortcuts.
See, I mostly be scared about Elise because I feel like she's real easy to snatch up, right?
No one wants me.
And see, I'm not saying that nothing can happen to me because I don't live that way, but I'm a big girl, right?
You're not.
So you really cannot just come out and yank me all, you know, close to, you know, a certain amount and weight. Like, I'm not light. Elise is light and she's small. So I feel like easily you could just snatch. So I'm like, why the heck are you going to bars and clubs by yourself at 12 o'clock at night? Why are you walking? Why are we doing that? That don't make no sense. You just gonna be a thief in the night. Just
because in my head, I'm the Black Impossible, as I told y'all before.
My goodness.
And second, I don't think anyone would really want me. Like, I feel like in my head when I be walking, I'm thinking about this.
I'm glad you're laughing at this because
that's what she says until she pop out in that little short dress with the, you know, the things popping out. Right, they don't want you.
Okay. Let me tell you one time that I knew that I said Elise. So Jordan will understand. So I was on Petworth, right, like off of Georgia Ave, right, and it was like Thursday. I just got my hair braided. It was like 11 p.m. on a Thursday night. And so I got my hair braided, and then the lady needed cash for their braids. Of course, Elise did not get cash prior to getting her hair braided. So it's 11 p.m. She needs $200 cash. I said, okay, I'm gonna go walk to the Safeway. You can use the ATM. She was like, okay, I'm gonna hold your purse, or maybe she held I think she held my ID, my like license, right?
Yeah. Did you give it?
Yeah, because I'd get my money. So then Elise and her little, I walk my little self down Georgia Ave. You know, people in Georgia Ave at night, a little active. And I go to the bank. to the ATM, in Safeway, get my $200 cash, I put my little, bankroll, mini bankroll, and then I put myself back on back. And I was talking to my friend at the time, and she was like, "You're about to walk by yourself at night?" I said, "These people." I said, "She need my ID. I don't want to rob these people with my nice new knotless braids. Like, I need to do it." But as I was getting my money, I saw the men looking at me in the corner. I was like, Elise, maybe not the best idea to be walking around at night with this money. And I didn't even have a real purse. I think I put it in my coat pocket and just kept it moving.
So with that story, that's a problem, right? Yes. We need to go back to the beginning of that story. So she wanted you to give her your ID and you said yes.
I mean, that's the collateral.
A car key, something like, not even a car key, something else. We don't give IDs, okay? This is something we're all going to follow going forward. You don't give people our IDs.
Your address.
That don't make no damn sense. We don't give IDs. You don't got to give a car key. But you could give like a house key or something. They can't find your house if you don't have their address. You cannot give people your IDs. That is point one, okay? 2, yes, your ass shouldn't have been walking at night. That was dumb. Okay, we're not doing that again.
Okay, but I don't like how men like don't have to think about that type of things. They don't have to be as scared. And it's like, why do I have to like spend all this money, have all these precautions, like, and I just am existing as a woman? Like, why am I constantly at a disadvantage as by my existence? That's not fair.
But you know what? That bothers me that men don't have to worry about it. But what bothers me more is that men treat us like we're crazy when we are concerned about these things, as if they're not the ones who are harassing and chastising us. Like, they're the ones who create this very unsafe environment, because most girls, when they are, very afraid, or they're walking at night, whatever, and they're like hyper aware of like their surroundings, it's typically, and I'm not saying never, but it's typically not because you think like a group of girls is going to come and jump you or some stuff like that. It's literally because you're afraid that a man is going to snatch you and take you off somewhere, or a man is going to, assault you or harass you in the street. It's literally because of men. For the most part, that's where our fears come from. So the fact that they even treat us like we're crazy for feeling this way, as if they didn't create this environment for us, really is what bothers me more than anything.
Yeah. And then like going on with that, like knowing that like men don't protect black women like they should, like how do you guys feel when like you go on dates with like black men? Like how do you feel like safety wise?
I don't feel like, when I think about certain things, like we think about like the Southern kind of chivalrous things that we expect, right? Like a guy walking on the outside of us. Those are very like small things, but when you think about them, like they're all about protecting us, right? Like they're supposed to be the ones who take the blunt of something that would happen off the street. Or like my friends and I would talk and it'd be like, oh, I went on a date. And I'd be like thinking, this guy should have paid for me like a car home or something. Like,
that's true.
We should not be walking back to the train and going on our separate ways at 10, 11 o'clock at night. You should have bought me a Uber, or.
But then you're going to give him your address, Simone.
No, but that's not the point. Like, even if it's not an Uber, even if it's a taxi, right? Like,
okay.
You should be concerned about me getting home safely. So it's like, if you're not comfortable with him walking, like physically walking you home, I feel like really when you think about it, they should be paying for a way for us to get home, or at least taking the train with us, to our stop wherever. And I don't feel like guys they don't think about things that way. But that's what would make me feel safer, being in their presence and like going on dates with them.
Yeah. I would say, well, I'd be wilding in these streets. So I never actually feel unsafe on the date per se, because I don't do my research, as you know. But I will say, my friends always know where I'm going. Like, I'm never going to go on a date and my friends who live in the city don't know where I'm going, because they're going to make sure that I am there. They're going to track me at those times and know I'm there. So like, they know I'm going on a date, but they know where I'm going and they know what time the date is. And like, we're really good at just like checking, our location. But I will say, I remember a really good point about like getting home. So like, I remember I went on a date with y'all about to light me up. I went with this one boy.
Aren't we always?
And it was my first like date in DC. So the date was like late, and then I was gonna come home, And I remember I thought I found it so unattractive that like he didn't, you know, offer to get me an Uber home or whatever, or like make sure I got home. So Elise and Elise Fashion said, because he didn't even offer to be like, oh, how are you gonna get home? I, as the date ended and he hugged me goodbye, I said, so you're not about to get my Uber? And he looked at me, he tilted his head, and I was like, so you just want me to go out into these streets and race all and risk my life to get back here after I came to this date and had to drink with you, think it was worth my life? And he was like, well, no. And I was like, exactly. So, well, I'm gonna get on this metro though anyway. And I want you to know that I came out here and risked my life for you.
Did he ever text you back?
Of course he did, because, you know, I got, you know, I'm that girl. Simone, proceed.
Anyways, so yeah, I just feel like it's like the little things. And as I've gotten older, these are things that I've noticed. And like I've noticed, like being in New York, a lot of guys here don't think about like when I'm walking with a girl, I should be on the outside of her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. Like I look
it.
to see, like I literally dated guys who, like, if I walked on the outside of them, they would shove me in. Like, what are you doing? Like, literally. And then here you're dating guys and they're just like, they just chilling, walking on the inside. And sometimes I'd be embarrassed because I'm like, I'm embarrassed that I'm even allowing this. You know, these are not my future men, so I don't really care that much. But it's embarrassing walking on the street like that because I'm like,
yeah,
I should be, like, and so it's like little things like that that make me feel better about like the person and like me feeling safe with them. Now, you was talking about dates, and I don't go on dates like that, to be quite honest, but I don't concern myself like with the actual like being on the date. But like Elise was saying, you know, if I'm leaving a date or really wherever I'm going, if I'm taking an Uber, somebody knows I'm in an Uber. Like I have literally texted friends to be like, just track me till I get home. I'm a little concerned. Like maybe the Uber didn't even do nothing, but I just need. Oh, and then another thing I forgot about. When I get in Ubers, I always turn, like if I don't know how to get home, I always turn my GPS on. Too. I do that. And it's so funny because I turn the volume down and it literally never works. So it always starting to, and I'm like, oh my God. But I always have my GPS on because I need to know, sir, that is the wrong turn. What are we doing? Because these are things that like have saved women. Like they literally watch and be like, wait, that's the wrong turn. Where are you going? And then, you know, the man might act a fool, but at least they're aware and they can like fight in that situation versus them pulling you into some deserted parking lot. Like, no.
And I want to like even just note, like, these things aren't like crazy. Like, I think, I guess move on to the next question, but I think it's like when it comes to catcalling, how do you handle the situation? Like,
girl, you always forget me.
Sorry, George.
Jesus.
It's funny because I feel like Jordan's not aggressive. Like, no, I'm in not. That sense, like Elise and I are, because y'all know I will raise. I will wait, and Jordan just be sitting, and I'll be laughing because like the last episode, Jordan was struggling on all four of us. Like she was struggling with all four of us. You know, we all loud and aggressive, and I was like, poor Jordan.
And I'm like, okay, go ahead. All right.
Oh, and then you just ask the next question.
All right. So, but with me, I don't even surround myself with like men or even like, you know, like I have like a lot of like gay friends. So like even like the masculine presenting like women I'm around, like they be watching out for me. Like Chloe brought me my mace. Like every time, like, oh, what are you doing? Like you need to step inside, or oh, watch out. You know, just always like aware, because like they were raised right. So. It was just like it's never even a thing for me to even be like in that predicament, like, oh, you really tripping. But like I feel safer when I go on dates because like usually I go on dates with people that like I know where their school, like
you know something
what school they went to. So that it's just like I know people, like I've seen your Instagram before. I know who your friends are. Like, and if it's like something like, you know, because all these little like DMV rape pages be coming up here and people be on there. They be on there.
That's very true.
And they friends be on there. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like you literally have pictures with the rapist. Like, no, why would I? No. That's why I have to do my 2 weeks research. Like I said on the last the last call, I mean, not call, but like episode. But yeah, no, I have to do my research because I have to make sure like you're not crazy. We have to FaceTime before we go on the date too, because I need to know if I'm meeting up with a real person. Like, it's just so many things I have to do before I get to the point where I want to be on a date.
Yeah.
So, and then, okay, now next, when it comes
Shade.
to when it comes to catcalling, like, how do you guys handle the situation? Do you just talk to them until they leave you alone, or like, do you ignore them? Like, what's the tea with that?
So,
Okay, Simone.
no, I
I'll
was
go.
just gonna say,
Thank you.
I was thinking I should start because I live in the capital of catcalling.
Yeah,
Like, nothing compares to New York. But it's intense here. So that's one thing. To the point where there's been moments where I don't want to wear something out. Or like if I'm going to be by myself, like if I'm in a group it's different. But there are some outfits that I'm like, oh, okay, I'll wait till I'm in a group setting walking these streets versus like being by myself.
Yeah.
Because it's a good and a bad thing, but I always joke with my family and I'm like, these Negroes out here, you can have your worst day and feel terrible. They're going to make you feel like the hottest thing walking, right? But at the same time, sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Like they walk up on you, you know, and it's like, I don't know. I don't like that side, right? But, you know, being that it's constant here, and like I was saying, you could have a mask on, baby. You could have a Amish skirt on, you know, them little low anklet skirts. You could have one of them on in a long sleeve shirt and you're still gonna get harassed, okay? I ignore the hell out of them. And, you know, unless someone says something that's just genuinely kind, I don't feel like I owe them a response. But, you know, if it strikes me and, you know, someone says something really sweet, I'll just say thank you. And then if they get a little out of hand, I just keep walking, right? Like I don't stop. I just keep walking and say thank you. But yeah, most of the time I truly ignore these people. Like you can hear them on the sides of you. I just keep my eyes forward, or I might look at them and keep walking. I need them to know I'm not giving you this attention, because if you give them that attention, they're going to really stop you in your tracks. And we can't really be playing around with them Negroes out here like that, you know? So I truly ignore them. That's my advice.
Yeah.
See, I feel differently though. I feel like you should, I mean, well, this is what I do. I'm not saying anybody should do anything, but I have to say like, oh, hello, because like some people will really like be off in your face.
Yes, they'll get aggressive.
Like they're like, oh, so she can't hear me? Oh, you think you all that, huh? Like be in your face. I'm like, I'm just trying to get to my destination, sir. Like I have nothing to do with what you got going on.
No, but I feel like you can kind of judge the situation, right? Like if someone just says hi, you say hi. They say you're beautiful, you say thank you. But you do have to ignore at some point because some of them take it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. And I try to like not make eye contact and stuff, but like I just hear so many stories about how like women literally getting killed in the street because like they didn't talk to somebody. So I just, ever since then I started hearing those stories. I'm just like, I'm gonna be very cordial, but nothing's gonna happen after that. And then like even if it's not even like catcalling, like in certain situations where like, you know, you're at a bar and like a man just won't leave you alone, like, oh, you sure I can't get your number, da 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 da, like all in your face. Like, I mean, I just give them my real number because I don't want them to call like right in front of me and then be like trying to cuss me out because I give them the wrong number. But it's just like, why do I have to do all of this yet again? Like, why do I have to do all this when they can just simply leave me alone?
Yeah.
Like, end of the day.
Yeah, go, Elise.
I was gonna say like my situation with catcalling. So like if you live in DC, like U Street where I get majority of my cat calls, and that's usually where all the bars are and like lounges. And so usually when I leave, like I'm always Ubering back home. Like none of my friends live in like where I live or near where I live. And so there was a time that I got in an Uber and a man who was trying to talk to me got in the Uber with me, and I like was ignoring him, and I was like, you need to get out. And like at that moment I was so like direct, but it really like made me uncomfortable. Like, why do you think that you can approach upon my personal space and my safety in that way? And then even before, like I've had men catcall Jordan said, if I ignore them and they really beep on my face, or like I'll be walking and there'll be a group of men and they'll come toward me and they'll be like peering in, and I'd be like very like focused on like, okay, like let me not make eye contact because I don't want to have it today. And I don't know why men think that's okay to do that, because it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel physically uncomfortable. Like I question like my safety when men do that to me, because it's not just cute. Like it's really like intimidating. Sometimes it's funny. Like this one man cat called me and I ignored him, kept walking. He's like, "You can walk on my life like that, sweetheart?" And I was like, "That's a good one. That's cute." But most of the times that I feel uncomfortable. And sometimes when I'm in Uber shares, because I be cheap, and so I take Uber shares sometimes home at night. Um, I have had men like try to catcall me or like hit on me in a car, and it'll go too far because I can't go anywhere while I'm in the car. And then we're gonna pull up to my apartment building and you're gonna know where I live. Like I've had men in cars be like, "Oh, it's a nice apartment building. Like you should invite me up." Like strangers, and I'm like ignoring them. I'm like, why do you think you can do that? Like I'm uncomfortable. I've had men be like, "Oh, you're really young, living in such a nice building. Like, how can you afford that?" I'm like, "Why do you care? This is a 10-minute Uber ride. Mind your business. Like, I mind my business. Like, stop. It's not cute. It's not attractive."
No, I agree. I think that you kind of just have to judge the situation. I don't want to say like I ignore people as if I just don't acknowledge anyone, but I think being in New York, like you were referencing U Street, and then there's maybe some popular streets that you might, have the attention at. Like in New York, it's literally everywhere. And I just feel like if you were to take the time to acknowledge everyone who has something to say, especially in the summertime when everyone's outside, it's like, it's too much. It's literally too much. Like I took my walk today. Like I live on I ain't gonna tell y'all where I live, but in the hundreds, high hundreds. And I walked down to 96th Street today, and it's like literally just swarms of men. And that's another thing you have to consider is like sometimes you don't want to walk into that crowd. You literally cross the street because you don't want to deal with like all the extraness that's about to occur. But I think here it's so common, like literally me just walking out my house, like the street right by it, right? Like everywhere here, they're so aggressive about it. So I don't know. Sometimes I just judge it, right? Like if it's a nice compliment, I'll acknowledge it. But also we walk around with earphones in, so that's a dangerous thing. But like I can't really hear half the things people be saying. Some people be speaking in Spanish, so there's only so much I can say. I don't know what you're saying besides boricua. Okay, like I don't know what else you're saying. So you just have to judge the situation. Like some guys are aggressive, and you do have to kind of acknowledge them in order to get them to go away. But the catcalling thing is so uncomfortable, but it's also just really ingrained in these like city type of cultures.
Did you mean bonita?
No, no, boricua. Let me look it up.
That's a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Okay, did I don't mean anybody say that to me?
Okay.
I swear I've heard someone say that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I will say though, before we like close out, I'm tired of these bouncers taking my pepper spray, and I always have to argue with them. And one time, a little Hennessy in me, I was like, "I could fight you." The man, he looked at me. He said, "Little girl, I will flip you." He said, "I will flip you across the street." I said, "No, you won't. My aunt's a lawyer," and I heard, and he was like, "And is she here now?" And
Right.
I was like, "I guess not."
Sounded like a look Karen. Okay.
I wanted my pepper spray back. I wanted to feel safe going back in my Uber by myself. Just let me have it. Let me have it.
Yeah.
Oh, he wouldn't let you have it after you
No,
left?
I said, "Can you hold it?" He said, "No, we don't do that." And he threw it away in front of me. And I was like,
See, here they take it, but they tell you to get it back. But like, I'm not gonna remember at 3 a.m. in the morning. Like I'm trying.
Oh, I definitely.
I'd tap him on the shoulder. I'd be like, "Excuse me, hello, the blue one? Yeah, that's mine."
No, literally.
One time,
that
this
was
man,
right,
he was so
that
over
was
me.
mine right there.
He was over my antics. He just said, "Hold on his pocket." When I came out, tapped him on the shoulder. I said, silently, he handed it to me. I said, "Have a good night," and I walked away. I'm tired of them.
But good discussion. I think for one, it's important to recognize that we have really got to change not us, we the oppressed, but the people around us
Shut
really
up.
need to change the treatment towards Black women. Black men need to hold themselves accountable and really take responsibility for a lot of the mistreatment that they've caused on Black women, and look forward to the ways that they can help protect us. And then I think also when it transfers into being young, you know, you've got to always go with your gut and always try to make the right decision. You know, take the precautions in advance. Not saying that it's ever going to prevent anything bad from happening, but at least you can say you tried, right? Like, don't walk around with your phone in your hand. Give your friends your locations. You know, things of that sort. Try to be proactive, and because and a lot of times this is the difference between life or death. So, you know, it's fun, it's lively, there's a lot going on in these cities, but you've got to be safe because there's also another side of it that people don't express all of the time. You know, you don't have to walk around in fear, but just be aware. So, good discussion, girls. I wish everyone luck in this quarantine time. We won't be going nowhere, so I guess it's not as much of a concern. So, next, we will have our listener letters.
As we are approaching month infinity of staying in the house, we've really been enjoying using the Anchor app to record our podcasts. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me tell you why. Number one, it's free. We don't got money for that. We are all recent grads out here. Times are rough. Also, there's free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. So it can be heard on Apple, Spotify, many more platforms as well. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Get you some coins for Uber Eats. That's what I usually use my money to, but it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. To get started, download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get your podcast on and poppin'.
So today's listener letter is from Bonita. Bonita Applebomb. You gotta put me on. Bonita Applebomb. So anyway, Bonita says, "Hey guys, excuse me?
Sorry.
Hey guys, I was wondering if you could touch on friendship breakups or rough patches. Like you all, I have been in the post-grad phase of my life for a little over a year. Right after graduation, I moved away from my hometown. However, because of COVID, I've found myself back here for the last 5 months. Being back with childhood friends has made me realize how much I've grown as a person, and at a time makes me question why I'm still friends with them. I know it sounds harsh, but I've sat through one too many wine nights where they want to play Never Have I Ever or Two Truths and a Lie. I might be being lame, but at this point in my life, I would prefer more riveting conversations. Anyway, I've been friends with them for more than 15 years, and I don't want to just throw these friendships away. But I find myself wanting to spend less and less time with them. Any advice?"
So I'm the type of person. So you remember how we said ghosting last episode?
Mm-hmm.
You be ghosting
I'm
friends?
definitely, yeah, it's not my strongest point in life, but sometimes I'm just be over people. Like my stuff I be over is not like, game nights and stuff, but like sometimes you really gotta just exit some people out your life. But like for friendships like that long, I can understand. I definitely have some friendships like that where like it's just like we don't really have anything in common anymore, so it's not really much to talk about other than like, oh girl, what you been up to, just a little general check-in. But I just say like I don't think it's bad to put distance between yourselves. Like, I mean, as long as it's like, mutual, and you're not just like leaving them hanging. Just be like, yeah, I still want to be friends with you guys, but like, I mean, I want other friends too that talk about other things. So my friends for like this type of thing and my friends for that type of thing, but like sometimes you just need to separate from people. I don't think that's bad, because I feel like even the friends that I've separated from amicably, I can still always go to them and be like, hey girl, what's up? Like it's never anything wrong. But it's just like people do grow apart. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely hard
But
though.
did you have a conversation, or did y'all just kind of just like stop texting as frequently?
Yeah, I never really have a
Yeah.
conversation.
I think for your situation, talking about people you want to spend less and less time with, like one lesson I learned is that sometimes like I will start not feeling someone, but I will force myself to be around them because I'm like, that's my friend. Like I really like I have love for them. But you start to resent
Yeah.
them. And that's when you become a bad friend to them. You just resent a person when you're voluntarily putting yourself in those situations. And then you become bitter, you become mean, and everyone's like, what's wrong with sis? And so advice I would have is I don't think it has to be as intentional because you guys are hometown friends, so it's not like your core group of friends. But I think it's just yeah, I mean, spacing out the hangouts. Like you don't have to come to every hangout. You can space it out so you
Yeah.
feel comfortable. I don't need it to be abrupt, but I do think it's like less and less time so that when you do see them once a year, like it's you enjoy it and not being like these people get on my nerves, like I'm starting to resent them, and then it becomes this abrupt thing that you may regret later. Like I had such a long friendship with them. I wish we were still cool. I would just felt like right now this wasn't what I need because I'm in like especially now being older, friends come back. Like example us, like we've been friends like since we were 14. Like we didn't talk every day, from 14 to like now or every week or even every month, but like
Yeah, not
we're
at all.
close in that. And so I would say like friends come back in cycles sometimes in your life, especially childhood friends. Like my childhood friend lives in the city now, right? And like that's really cool. So I don't think, and we're very different people as we are, but it's still close to have someone who you've known since you were like literally 6 and still know them and be cool with them. So I think it's just spacing it out so you don't get resentful because then you get bitter and then no one wants to hang around you. But I also don't think it's a thing that you just ghost them. I think you should just say, hey, like, I'm gonna chill tonight. I'm gonna see y'all next weekend or like the next hangout.
Yeah.
Well, for one, I'll start off with saying I'm the type of person who has a lot of friends, but I have different groups of friends for different things. And I also try, like, I kind of have like a hierarchy, right? Like, you have your close friends, and then you also have, friends that you do things with, your friends you go hiking with, or you travel with, and things of that sort. So I think I say that to say friendships need boundaries. So you don't have to hang out with them just because they're your childhood friends or you've known them forever. Like if you're not having fun, you don't have to go. They can still be your childhood friends that you love, but you don't have to be in their face all the time. But at the same time, I get how you feel because I remember like when I would come home from college, I used to feel like I didn't have any friends, which was unfair because I have tons of childhood friends like that I've known forever and they live in the city. But I always felt like they had their own friend groups at that point, right? Like they went to school in the city, they had their own friends. So I kind of felt like a little isolated in that sense. But then, as I got older, I just realized like we love each other. And some of them I consider to be like sisters, but we just probably won't hang out all the time. And that's okay. Like we'll see each other. We make efforts to see each other when we want to do certain things. But that love never goes anywhere. It's just like you just recognize like the different places of these friends in your life. And that's I think the
Yeah.
importance of it. So I get like the feeling, probably feeling lonely, honestly, because we've all been there. And when you're not away from your when you're away from your core group, that's when you really feel it. So you feel like you need to go and blah 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 blah. But maybe you guys just aren't where you used to be, and that's okay. So it's all about establishing some type of boundary, recognizing where they fall into your life, and girl, you ain't gotta be in their face all the time. Like stay
Yeah.
home, hang out with your family or whatever, but like get some space.
Also, you're gonna go back home, back to the city you're living in before this anyway, eventually. So it'll be
Yeah.
different. And I feel like moving to a new city is a great point. For me, like I actually didn't think I would make a lot of friends here, but I do have friends, and I have friends that uh really motivate me in certain areas of my life and like are inspiring. So I would say, yeah, there's not a limit on friends. Like you can just have certain friends for certain reasons, and not have to cut people off completely, but I would say just make sure you just don't become a bad friend to them or like a mean person per se. Like that's the main thing.
And it's not mean to not want to go out, because my friend tell you I don't be wanting to go nowhere half the time. And I really don't have no problem. I have a friend in the city who will call me all the time and be like, let's go here. And I'm in my pajamas like, sis, it's too late. You got to call me at a certain time. And I don't feel bad about it, because that's my mental health. That's what makes me feel okay. Like, I don't like to be out all the time. So it's okay. I say that to say it's okay to say no. So if you ain't trying to go, don't go, girl. Like, you ain't got to go.
Yeah, because I definitely have friends where, like, it don't matter when's the last time I talked to them, every birthday. So here's the invitation to my birthday party. Like, you know, like, I have friends that I haven't talked to, like, one-on-one in a long time, but I know if I need anything or if they need anything from me, 100%.
And it's just a call.
Like, all you need to do is call me. Like,
but that's how the grown-up relationships change. And we're gonna have an episode on that too, but it all changes as you get older. You don't have time like you used to. So we hear you, Bonita Applebaum. And we get how you feel, but also just girl, you ain't gotta go. That's really all I have to say. You don't have to go.
And you don't have to throw away your friendship.
That friendship can still be there. But girl, truth or dare does get tiring after a while. And, you know, you got to keep sharing what's happened to you with these people who didn't really experience that period of your life with you. That's tiring, girl. So we get it. Is there any advice for the week?
Google health insurance, because I don't really know what's going on. And so it would be great if y'all could Google it and then DM us so I could understand health insurance, because I don't understand it and I must have missed the course in school in my public policy degree where I should have learned this.
When you apply for insurance, they'll give you a pamphlet where you can understand it. But until y'all get off of y'all's mama's insurance, y'all ain't gonna understand.
I'm not telling you, you're not gonna talk to me until I'm 26. And I'll be like, can we do another like reunion and we talk about
I'm just saying, you will understand one day. That's it. My advice is, Jordan had mentioned about her friends and how they watch out for her. I think moving to these big cities or just moving to a place away from home and in general, you know, be very selective of who you consider to be a friend, who you go out with, who you drink with, who you even smoke with, I dare say, because everyone cannot be trusted. And you should never be in a position where you're in danger and you're concerned that people who are with you are not going to have your best interests. Like, I know my friends will act a fool if somebody stepped to me wrong. And that's how it should be. You should have people in your life who are watching out for you all the time. So that's going to be my biggest advice, is like, when you're making these changes and just in general, like, try to be selective on who you consider to be a friend. Like, you know, we only good vibes over here, but really, like, when it comes down to it, they should be protecting you the same way you would protect them. So just make wise decisions and try to watch out for red flags and things of that sort when you're entertaining new people.
Yeah, and my advice for the week is to contact your local representatives and tell them they need to save USPS.
Good point.
I have a package coming on Monday. Girl. And I don't know if y'all heard me earlier, but I'm leaving tomorrow. So I'm a little upset about that. But it's going to be here when I get back, I guess.
Well, when you ordered it, did it give you an estimated shipping date?
No, see, I ordered it with somebody, not with like a company. So like the person shipped it to me yesterday.
So there's no... So this is
okay, but I ordered it last Friday.
There's
so
no
I
insurance on this order. Is it just some random person sending you this something?
But I have the tracking code. I have the tracking number.
I thought you were going to be intellectual, something like,
so
yes, for a quality policy. You talking about your individual package that you ordered late from a random person?
So I got it. Everybody support the U.S. Post Office, not because of Jordan. I mean, hopefully she gets her package, but buy a stamp, do something to support, because people are really, not people, our government is really trying to shut this service down. I want to reiterate, it is a service. Yes, it is in debt, but it is a service. It is not meant to really be that profitable.
Make money.
But it's a service to people who cannot afford these private shipping companies such as FedEx or UPS and those type of things. And people are really depending on the U.S. Post Office, not just for mail-in ballots, for, insulin, just medication in general. This is a big deal. And so we have to support this service. I mean, I don't think there are any Trump supporters on this podcast listening session. I'm sure after this episode, y'all probably gonna cut us out after all the Negroes I done said. But support the U.S. Post Office. Period.
Period, Pooh.
Oh, I'm tired. We gotta go.
Thank you guys for joining. Again, buy a stamp. Everybody pray that Jordan gets her package
tomorrow.
Anyway, so
6 o'clock in the morning. But okay.
I don't why am I struggling to finish right now? So thanks for joining again on another episode of Kinda Adulting. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for your continued support. Follow us on our social media at Kinda Adulting Pod, and you can anonymously send in your listener letters at tinyurl.com/KA letters. See you next Monday at 12.